Proverbs 25:17 says, "Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee and so hate thee." This proverb deals with a very awkward sort of situation. Whether you're the one at your neighbor's house or you're the neighbor with the visitor that stays too long, it's just awkward. What's amazing to me is that most of us have seen this play out during our lives in various ways, but there's still those who just don't get it. It just doesn't register. For example, most of the people I know have seen nearly all of the episodes of the Andy Griffith Show, and they've had some very funny shows based on this whole premise. In season 2, episode 9, yes, I looked this up, Aunt Bee's Brief Encounter, a fella named Handyman Henry, who is played by James Buchanan of Uncle Joe fame from the Petticoat Junction show, he sticks around too long and becomes a mooch. Andy has to deal with him. Then there's season 2, episode 30, where Barney's cousin Virgil, played by Michael J. Pollard, is not only overstaying his welcome, but is terribly incompetent. And so that's a mess that has to be cleaned up. Some of the great actors of the 1960s showed up on the Andy Griffith Show to play one variation or another of a neighbor overstaying his welcome. One of my favorites was season 3, episode 26, titled Andy's English Valet, when Bernard Fox plays the recurring role of Malcolm Merriweather, and he makes Aunt Bee feel inadequate and unwanted by overstaying and overreaching his role in the house. And other well-known roles through the decades include Cousin Eddie in the National Lampoon Vacation movies, of which we recommend you only watch the edited for TV versions. And these and many more shows and movies all were teaching the point of our proverb. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee and so hate thee. With all of these culturally relevant examples of neighbors overstaying their welcome, and most of us seeing it happen at least once or twice in real life, and yet I still hear stories of it happening. And as a pastor, it goes both ways, and probably more often than with most other people. First off, I try to be aware of how long I have been at the bedside of someone in the hospital or a nursing home, and if there's a lot of medical attention needed or a lot of other family and friends, then I shorten my stay. And there are times when my presence is just not wanted. And even though most would never tell me in plain words, I have to read the room and be gracious and make a quick visit and then exit. But I also suffer the other side occasionally. It's been more rare for me than other pastors from the stories I've heard, but on occasion there's someone who will come to my house and stay for long periods or make frequent visits. And I've had to have that awkward discussion about the fact that I do have other things to do, and I can't just sit around and visit for hours at a time, numerous days of the week. And the same thing is true of phone calls. I'm not complaining about the occasional phone call for 30 minutes to an hour if there's really things that we can talk about. But in the ministry, time is a precious commodity, and many men have just burned out or even hurt their marriages because of having their time absorbed by those who don't know when to withdraw their foot, whether literally or figuratively. So my parting word on this proverb and the wisdom contained therein is be self-aware. Think. If you start to feel like you've stayed long enough, then you probably have. And I know some people are missing that, meter that tells you when you've stayed too long, just like a lot of people don't have the sarcasm meter and humor meter. But if you have the sense and you start to feel that way, don't ignore it, but don't put others in the awkward position of wishing you would just leave. And just because people are nice and don't say so, it doesn't mean that they don't feel like you're taking advantage of them, or they just wonder why you don't have enough sense to realize it's time to leave. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee, and so hate thee.